what the school board should do is take a year off, have a moratorium on school closings, and have a real process where there's a study, a plan, and the people who are part of this coalition here have real input into what happens to our schools.
What do we want? Elected school board. When do we want it? When do we want it?
So in regards to the elected representative school board referendum that just passed by an overwhelming majority, approximately 90% of the 70,000 people who voted to approve an elected representative school board, is really a reflection of how Chicagoans feel about the heavy-handed tactics and undemocratic tendencies of an appointed school board that doesn't represent their interests. Overwhelmingly, these people are the barons of industry, billionaire heiress Penny Pritzker, who were protesting today, who have siphoned money away from neighborhood schools to build privatized, non-union, unaccountable charters that are politically connected and that haven't performed as promised. So the frustration with all of the destruction and chaos that's been imposed on communities as if they were pawns on a chessboard has reached a boiling point, and it's being shown and expressed now in every facet of our city, whether it's electorally, whether it's on the street, whether it's in our unions, whether it's in the ballot box. All of these things are showing a merge of the sentiment, which is deep resentment and opposition to what's been going on for far too long. Approximately, I think 86% of all of those who voted in approximately 15% of the precincts across the city voted in favor of an elected representative school board. Very overwhelming support.
So there's a direct connection between the protest today and the significance of the referendum.
Yeah, so today, we're going to challenge the Hyatt hotel chain and Penny Pritzker, who's an owner, and she's also a billionaire member of the Board of Education who appeals her property taxes despite her wealth. And that harms children because there's not resources going into their schools as a result. And that's outrageous. And here, she's getting over $5 million for her billionaire hotel chain that doesn't need the money for their luxury hotels. And that money could be going to schools, parks, and libraries. And we're here today to say, if you're going to shut down our schools, we're going to shut down your hotels. And there's going to be a cost and a price to pay every time you're going against the democratic sentiment of the majority.
Well, while teachers were preparing for the strike, a bunch of parent and community allies were preparing for this referendum on the elected representative school board. The initiative was taken on by these community groups and parents because they're tired of people like Penny Pritzker having a role on our Board of Education where parents and people that actually deal with the schools every day don't have a voice. So they door knocked in over 300 wards and were able to get it, or 300 precincts, and were able to get it on the ballot as a referendum. The results were huge. Over 80% were in favor of getting it. So now the next push would be to work it in the state legislature and see if people are willing to go to bat for it.
And the protest today, how's that rated? There's some connection between these issues?
Well, as we know, all this privatization, the school board, all of this is connected. Today we're going to pay a little visit to Penny Pritzker, one of her properties, because she is on the school board, and she just received a huge amount of money for one of her Hyatt hotels, while they're saying they don't have money to keep our schools open. And then there's the added piece that they want to close 100 of our schools, yet open 40 to 60 new charters. So they're saying there's not enough money and not enough students, so why would you need to open another set of schools? And so we're here to just get the message out. We wanted to start this fight a little bit earlier than usual, get the message out to the public, because the public does seem to be on our side. They trust the teachers. After the strike, overwhelming support for us because they realize that we are the people that care about their kids. So hopefully we're going to get this voice out, and before the school closing hearings start, gain some more support in the public.
So why the business? Why is it this 5.5 million taxes, but in our neighborhood schools they're closing? Our children cannot. They told me that my son would be transferred out of his neighborhood. Why? We live right there. We're the ones that have no income. I have a low income. So that way, that's more money for me to get my child to where he needs to go. Why can't he just stay right in his neighborhood school? It should be equal opportunity. Education should be the same across the board. These 100 schools that's being closed within the Latinos and the African American neighborhood. Can somebody tell me why?
We're here today to first of all recognize that the board's request to move back the deadline for the school closing announcements is a recognition of the failure of their policy. It is disorganized, it is in shambles. They're asking to delay it because they know that it can't pass muster now, and they're hoping that by moving it later, they'll have time to line up support, and that tactic will not work with us. If you cannot tell us what you're planning to do now, do not hope that by moving it to the end of the school year, it will pass muster with us then. It won't. What the school board should do is take a year off, have a moratorium on school closings, and have a real process where there's a study, a plan, and the people who are part of this coalition here, the parents, the community, and the teachers of the city of Chicago, have real input in what happens to our schools. Secondly, we're here to serve notice to the appointed board that if you close our schools, we are coming after you. We are here to serve notice to the billionaires that hope to fund the closing of our schools. That if you come after our schools, we will expose you. And we are here to serve notice to the elected officials that if you close our schools, there will be no peace in this city. The people who do not live here, who do not send their kids here, and who feel the necessity that they can make the policies for our schools have no legitimacy in our eyes. Do not cover for them. Do not carry water for them. We will defend our schools. And finally, we are here to say that the policy of school closing in this city is deeply racist. That it targets the west and south sides. After years of telling us that the schools that are being closed on the basis of performance, now we find, after 8 years of closures and 8 different sets of policies, they now tell us that they are going to close schools not on the basis of performance, but simply on the basis of how few students go to the schools. How are you going to close schools at the same time you're building 100 new schools? You're closing schools because there's too many schools at the same time you're building new schools. It doesn't make any sense unless really you understand that what's happening here is a conscious policy of school privatization, which is something that we see happening, but has never been subject to public debate, and it's something which we will stand against and continue to oppose. Thank you.